So now we're going to talk about the p-value. So when we're running this test, we're going to use the sample data to calculate the actual probability of getting the test results, and we call that the p-value. So the p-value is the probability that if the null hypothesis is true, the results from another randomly selected sample will be as extreme or more extreme as the results obtained from the given samples. So basically what we're saying is if the null is true, the results from this sample will be the same as the sample we just tested. A large p-value calculated from the data indicates we should not reject the null hypothesis. The smaller the p-value, the more unlikely the outcome and the stronger the evidence is against the null hypothesis. We would reject the null hypothesis if the evidence is strongly against it. So what's going on? As this p gets smaller and smaller and smaller, we're going to say we're going to reject that null and something is going on. So here's the way to do the decisions. So we're going to compare our p to our alpha, which is our level of significance. If the p is less than or equal to alpha, you reject the null. This means the null hypothesis is false and your alternative is true, but in a true sense, it's really not true. It's the one we're going to go with. So just know that I can't say without a shadow of a doubt it's completely true, but I'm leaning towards that way. If the p is greater than alpha, you fail to reject the null. That means that you're favoring your null hypothesis and your alternative is false. So let's think about the meaning of the p-value. A data analyst or anyone else should be more confident that they've made the correct decision to reject the null with a smaller p-value. So for example, if my p-value is 0.001 as opposed to 0.04, even though I'm using a 0.05 level for the alpha or the level of significance. So think about it this way. The smaller and smaller my p-value is, the more I can feel confident in my results. So similarly, for a large p-value, say is 0.4 as opposed to a small p-value of 0.056, I would feel more confident that I've made the correct decision and not rejecting the null. So as your p-values get larger and larger away from your level of significance, you have more confidence. What happens though is if those p-values are around your level of significance, that's where you've got to kind of be careful because you can falsely reject your null or you can falsely keep your null. So you've just got to make a judgment rather than applying rules. And this is one of those cases that we do that.